discharge tube, and now he kept two electrodes. Two electrodes means what it can be zinc plate or copper plate to conduct electricity. Now he has to attach it with wires. Then he took a battery, and the battery voltage, we have to give high voltage. Yes. So how much voltage he took? High voltage around 10,000 volt. 10,000, or not, sometimes you must have heard about 10 kV. kV means kilovolt. 10 into 1000. 10 kV. And one switch is there to switch it on and off. This is the key to press it on and off. Now for a battery, you know, there will be negative side as well as positive side. Suppose this is negative side of the battery and this is positive side. The negative side, the wire is taken and connected to this electrode, so this becomes negative. And positive is taken to this side, so this becomes positive. Now negative electrode, normally we say it as cathode, and positive electrode is known as anode. Okay, so this is ready. Next, what we have to do, we have to insert gas, different gases, and do the experiment, right? So that he kept one vacuum pump here. Through this vacuum pump, we can insert gas, we can remove gas, we can decrease the pressure, we can increase the pressure. So vacuum pump is used. You must have seen in cycle pump, you have a vacuum pump to increase the pressure of that tire, to inflate the tire, or to pump the air inside. You have it. So same way there will be a vacuum pump to increase or decrease the pressure of gas. So now he took the gas, that normally he took mercury vapors. Hg is hydrocarbon, that is the symbol of mercury is Hg. Vapors, it is not gas. You hope you know the difference between gas and vapor. So here it is Hg vapors, mercury vapors. Now comes, he was arranged everything. Now the experiment has to start, right? When the switch is on, something is happening. He is not able to see that. Then to understand what is clearly happening, what he did is a small changes in the arrangement. Then what he understood that, okay, something is happening, right? So what it is, how to know about it, what he did is he kept a screen here, one screen. You know that it is made up of the substance named zinc sulfide. ZnS means zinc sulfide. What is the speciality of zinc sulfide plate is, any rays, invisible rays, coming and touching on this, falling on this, it can emit light. Such screen we say them as fluorescent screens. Fluorescent means it can emit light, some rays falls on it. Now he kept the arrangement, and to his surprise, you know, some rays are coming. Some green light is seen on this. That means some rays are getting originated in this discharge tube. Okay, so how much voltage? With 10,000 volt. And what is the pressure I said? It is 0.0001 mm of Hg. At that time, he found that some rays are starting from cathode and moving towards anode, and when it is touching the zinc sulfide screen, it is emitting this light. Okay, since those rays are originating from cathode, simply he gave the name as cathode rays. So suppose the question is, what are cathode rays? What I have to tell is, cathode rays are the rays which originate from cathode and moves toward anode when 10,000 volt of current and 0.0001 mm of Hg is applied in a discharge tube. Once again, what are cathode rays? Cathode rays are the rays which are originating from cathode and moving towards anode when 10,000 voltage and 0.0001 mm of Hg is applied in a discharge tube. Okay. Now for J.J. Thomson, it was a challenge for him to know about the properties of cathode rays. Okay, it is starting from cathode, moving towards anode. Now what are the properties? For that he made little arrangements in this, and then he was describing about it. I'll show this video also, how what was the experiments done by J.J. Thomson. So what he did is he shifted this cathode in center, between little bit near to the cathode, and he kept the zinc sulfide screen here. And now a small hole is made in the anode. This is the anode, right? This is the cathode, this is the anode, and such anode with small holes, we say it as porous anode. Porous means holes. Now porous anode. So one hole was there. So when he was doing this experiment, he found that the light is seen exactly opposite to this. Not here or here. Light is seen only exactly opposite to the hole. What does it mean? It means that cathode rays are traveling from cathode to anode, and through the hole it is coming out and hitting the screen. But here on it is not coming. That means cathode rays always travel in straight line. Otherwise, if it is not straight line, it is spreading everywhere. We must have seen everywhere the light. It is not seen. Cathode rays are seen only, the green light is seen only here. That means cathode rays are traveling in straight line. So the first property you should know is cathode rays are traveling in straight line. Just like light. Okay, another experiment he did to know about it is he kept an object here. One object is kept on the path of the cathode ray. Suppose this is a cathode ray, anode ray. Anodes are cathode and anode is there. So suppose he kept an object here, a light object, and then he found that the shadow of the object is formed. That means again the cathode rays are traveling in straight line. Only light, why it is we are getting shadows? Because two things. Light cannot travel through opaque objects, and then light travels through straight line. That are the two conditions to get the shadow. Same way here, any object is kept on its path. This is the path of cathode rays. Yes, any object is kept on its path, we can see the shadow. That means cathode rays are traveling in straight line. Yes. Next, what he did is yes, the same object, if you keep it with a stand or something, he found that this light objects, it is rotating, it is moving. That means it is able to produce some motion. This cathode rays, when it is traveling, it is able to produce some motion, mechanical motion. That means it has certain energy to move the object. Not heavy objects, light objects, it can move. That means cathode rays can produce mechanical motion. So see, different properties he is saying. Next, what he did is, this arrangement, you carefully listen. Here is the anode, positive anode. Now, externally he kept one electric field, positive electric field and negative electric field. Means externally he connected another battery for, and then he kept it. One side positive, one side negative. And when the switch is on, what he observed is, like cathode rays which is coming straight up to this level, suddenly is moving this side. It is deviating its path, or it is bending, it is deviating, and always it is deviating towards positive side. It is not deviating towards negative sides. It's always deviating towards positive electric field. That means this should be negative. Always negative gets attracted to positive, right? So negative will be attracted towards positive. If this is positive, if these rays, suppose it is positive, it must have moved towards negative side. It must have deviated towards negative side. But when he was doing the experiment, he understood it is deviating towards positive side. That means cathode rays are negatively charged particles. It is originating from negative plates, so it is negatively charged particles. How could he prove that? Because cathode rays deviate its path towards positive electric plate or positive side when an electric field is applied. Okay, once again, cathode rays are negatively charged particles. They are small particles, but it has a charge, it is negative charge. They are negatively charged particles because it is deviating its path towards positive electric field. Clear? Very nicely he could explain that cathode rays are negatively charged particles. Then what he did is, in the same discharge tube experiment, he kept magnets two magnets on its path. Two magnets, okay, or one magnet like this. Anyways, he kept a magnetic field instead of electric field. Now magnetic field, and here also he could find that it is deviating its path. It is deviating. That showed that cathode rays are charged particles. They are not neutral, they are charged particles. So they can get deviated in electric field, they can get deviated in magnetic field, they are always moving straight line, they can produce mechanical motion, they can produce shadows. Like this he did many properties of cathode rays. So more detail about cathode rays I'll take you in the next lesson, next content I'll teach you about it. That is, what is a charge, what is a mass, everything he told. This much is clear. So this I will show you a video and explain about this, how he did the experiments on cathode rays. Fine. Okay children, I will be showing now the video about this cathode rays. That is how J.J. Thomson discovered. We will be talking about discovery, production and properties of cathode rays using the discharge tube. Okay, these three things will be covered in this video. It is very interesting topic. So first you have heard about William Crookes. William Crookes is an English scientist who discovered cathode rays when he was studying about electrical discharge in gases. I told you gases. He studied about passing current through gases. Then followed by J.J. Thomson. He also discovered about it. Now comes, this is the discharge tube equipment. So you can see that discharge tube here. We have a battery. Battery is having positive and negative. The positive side is connected to cathode. This is called cathode, and positive side is connected to this side, that is called anode. So this is cathode, negative and positive anode. Then we have a vacuum pump to increase and decrease the pressure, isn't it? Now how much voltage we have to give? We have to give around 10,000 volt, that is 10 kV to 20 kV, between that high voltage. And what is the pressure? This is the pressure of 0.001 mm of Hg. This is the stand to keep it everything in erect way. And here it is high potential difference. Potential difference is nothing but voltage of 10 kV to 20 kV, and a pressure, a low pressure of about 0.00 mm of mercury is being used in this discharge tube. Okay, now comes the production. You can see now when the switch is on, a green light is coming from here, cathode to anode. So this green light, that is the light coming, and here what is being kept here to know about this, whether the rays are coming or not, that is called zinc sulfide screen, fluorescent screen. Next is properties. The first property what we are talking about is cathode rays travel in straight line. How to know is, he kept an object in between cathode and anode. So he found that there is a shadow being casted here. A shadow is formed here. That means cathode rays travel in straight line. Okay. So only if the cathode rays are traveling in straight line, then we can get a shadow. So he kept an object in between. Second property is cathode rays consist of negatively charged particle. For that, he kept an electric plate above and below this cathode rays. You can see here negative, here it is positive. Now you can see that cathode rays are bending towards positive. Isn't it? Cathode rays are bending towards positive. That means cathode rays are negatively charged particles. Then he used, instead of electric field, he kept magnetic field. You can see the bending. The green light is getting bending. It is clearly seen that it is moving towards, or it is deviating towards North Pole. Now next property, this I did not explain you, just to understand, you can understand that cathode rays produce X-rays. Have you heard about X-rays? Okay, X-rays is produced in the tube named Coolidge tube. What is that? Coolidge tube. Now cathode rays are made to hit on heavy objects like molybdenum, then we are getting X-rays. Next property is cathode rays travel with high speed, almost equal to the speed of light. How much is the speed of light? 3 lakh kilometer per second. And it even possesses kinetic energy. I told you, some object is kept on its path, it is able to rotate, or it can produce mechanical motion. That shows that cathode rays have kinetic energy.